Hello and good afternoon. Simon here from Explore History. Today I want to talk about water. Water can be used for nearly free energy. There will always be some upkeep costs for turbines, etc., but very minimal compared to fossil fuels, and even wind turbines. The carbon footprint to put up a windmill is huge. Transporting the crane to erect it, then the actual tower and blades, constructing it all, then decommissioning it at the end of its life. It will be lucky if it will ever even pay for itself. Classic example of different corporations scratching each other's backs pretending to be doing good for the environment. Now the reason I'm bringing up water, in the area I live in, which is Teesdale, northeast of England, we have a concentration of reservoirs which hold a huge potential for energy generation. And I keep wondering, were they used for that very purpose years ago? So this is Cow Green Reservoir, 2 miles long and holding approximately 40,000 million litres of water. It was built in 1967 to 1971 and its main purpose was to regulate the flow of the River Tees and reduce flash flooding. So we're just heading down towards the dam here and along the footpath and come across what looks like some remains of some mining. Looks like there's a bit of a shaft here. It's got a rickety fence around it. I wouldn't be venturing any closer, I don't think. Who knows how deep that could go. You can see all around the white little crystalline stones. I don't know whether it's quartz or fluorspar or barytes. There's a definite trench sort of thing coming from it. So maybe it came out of there and across to the remains of where you can see machinery once stood. See some concrete base pieces, some ironwork, so there's something bolted on. It's not far from the actual reservoir itself, though it did say that mines were flooded when they first built the reservoir. I'm just wondering what this little thing is. Doesn't look like the sort of place you'd find a hydrant, is it? In the middle of nowhere. So, made it down to the dam. You can get an idea of the size of this reservoir. Say 2 mile long, 40,000 million litres. That's got to be some potential for energy. If you're powering the turbine off it, you can see down there, that's where the water's coming out. That's the whole of the River Tees coming through 2 pipes. I mean, looks like there's 3, so when the reservoir's nearly full they can open another one to keep the flow regulated. It's only when it's completely full and it comes over the top, that's when they can't. I just noticed where the steelwork's going into the concrete. There's some sort of reaction and it all seems to be like leaching out, like stalactites. Just reminded me of Wiseup's channel and some of the stuff I've seen in South America. Similar sort of thing. Concrete and steel. See, this is only, what, 50-year-old? It's already started here. So, who knows what could have happened before. Just about to descend the dodgy looking staircase down to the bottom of the dam. And let's get an idea of how much power we need to water. We're at the bottom of the dam now, it's a little less windy. Can you hear that? Doesn't that sound like a turbine or something? Maybe they already are using it. So you can get an idea of the power, how much water is actually coming through this. I did look into specifics of actually trying to work out how much potential energy there is, but I just don't have enough facts, and to be honest the equation's beyond me. but I'd love to hear if anyone can work out the actual potential energy of this. After it's come out of those two pipes, it makes its way down the concrete wall, beautiful waterfall. You can see all that water just comes through those pipes over the river trees. So just a bit further down from Cowgreen, got Selset Reservoir. It's middle of summer at the minute, so there's not a great deal of water in it, but I have seen it lapping over the edge of this overflow, which goes down. It's quite a big construction. So I've just been looking to try and find the capacity of this place, but I can't seem to find it. But what I did come across was there's already been a hydroelectric scheme for this. It actually produced 750 kilowatts, 1,000 homes. So that being said, they already know the potential of all these waterways, so why aren't they using them? Well, I suppose they are using this one. This is the area, that's Selset Dam, looking up. And you have a little transition in between. This rickety old, well, not rickety, some pretty big blocks there, but you know what I mean. Let's go on to the top of Grasholm Reservoir, which is bigger again. So the potential of electric energy in this one is more than Selset, I would say. Again, I haven't looked into the exact capacity and the fall and all that, but it's, I would say, 1.5 miles, 2 miles long, a bit narrower, but it's again definitely got potential. I'm not sure on the construction date of this one. It said Selset was 1960. I'll have a look. It was actually built in the early 1800s, a very ropey era, known as the Victorian era. We've been looking into that, haven't we? So that's the bridge we've just been stood on. You can see the little packhorse bridge in front. That's it now. When the water's really low, sometimes exposes itself, and it's still there. So in the next valley over, in Baldersdale, we have 3 reservoirs in a row. The top one being Balder Head Reservoir, with a capacity of 3,500 million gallons. So again, potential energy. How much is that? You see where it falls through the dam, that's its output there. It works its way down. Then you've got, it works its way into Blackton Reservoir. It was constructed in the 1960s, and again 3,500 million gallon capacity. You got the same potential in energy from that one. And then in the very distance we've got Hewry Reservoir, which I think is much older construction. I'll check that out. Now I couldn't find anything online for the actual construction date, but in one of my old history books I did find a reference to the first sod being cut for Blackton Reservoir in 1889. I just found on Wikipedia or whatever, and it was built in 1960s. So there's some anomalies there. I'll have to look into further. We're down at Hewry Dam now. You can see the level of construction here is far superior. So from a different era, perhaps. Maybe it's even before the Victorians. We've got concrete and big block work. And when you see this overflow here, this is amazing. So this is 3,500 million gallons of potential electric energy. And we've already seen that Selset operates a 750 kilowatt electric power plant. But what would it be with all of them together? These are all linked by channels like this. Was this once, you know, a big energy plant already up and running? So we've got 3,500 million gallons, a fall of about 100 metres. How much energy can be created? That little stone building there, just wrapped in ruin. Must have been for something. Obviously not doing anything now. It's all overgrown, and how long has it actually been there? So here's a map of the area, and you can see Cow Green at the top, and then the rest of the reservoirs, 3 in a row: Hewry, Blackton and Balderhead, and then Selsit and Grasham. So you've got like 6 reservoirs there, each with the potential to generate at least 750 kilowatts. Cow Green's twice the size, so there's another 750. It's like 5,250 kilowatts of potential energy you got there, which is enough for well over 6,000 homes. Why isn't Teesdale generating all its electricity hydroelectrically? It's there, it's free, it's already in place. But has it been there before, and have they used it before? Because the construction in the 1800s, why are they telling us it's been done in 1965 when it clearly isn't? So this is that photograph that I was on about, and it says other important occasions for official photographs like this one of the cutting of the first sod for Blackton Reservoir in 1889. Consider the problems faced by the photographer imposing some 200 people on a steep hillside and persuading all of them to stay still while he exposed the plate. It's remarkable that he succeeded so well. Well, first of all, 1889 at Blackton, when it said it before it was constructed in the 60s, and secondly, they're on the steep bank side of the dam. Is this supposed to be cutting the first sod for it? It's already there. Well, that's been a little look into the power and water and the amount of it that Teesdale has in its back pocket, if we could only use it. And this little zoom here is golds per car. Just a little fun fact to end with. Couldn't help thinking it looked like one of those ancient giant tree stumps. Anyway, this is Simon, over and out for Explore History. See you next time.